Under the terms of the Liberty Pact, any of the signatories is entitled to call a meeting of the Pact's membership if they have an issue to discuss. Each nation will send at least one representative. At the recent summer solstice, notification was sent by the Empire to the other nations of the Pact to indicate that the Empire wished to discuss the situation regarding the nation of Faradin. Representatives of Sumar and the Commonwealth have arrived in the Empire, but by the time of the equinox there was no sign of the expected delegate from Axos. Worse, there was some significant concern that the Empire's own delegate, Esker Crowspeaker, would be unable to attend the meeting. Given the situation, the delegates from Sumar and the Commonwealth politely request that the Empire delay the meeting for a season. This will allow more time to ensure that all signatories are fully briefed on the purpose of the meeting, and give more time for Sumar and the Commonwealth to present suggestions of their own. Both Sumar and the Commonwealth emphasize the benefits to be had if the nation calling a meeting of the Pact provides detailed briefing information about what they wish to discuss. Both nations received an invitation to the meeting, but with various levels of detail about what was at stake. They are at pains to stress that the more information that they have in advance, the better prepared they can be for the meeting, and thus the easier it is for them to be briefed and to make appropriate decisions. If they don't have enough information to make those decisions, then inevitably there will be frustrating delays as negotiators are forced to take details back home to be studied at length before any agreement is forthcoming. The Commonwealth propose a polite agreement that every nation commit that if they are going to call a meeting of the Pact, then they aim to ensure that the invitation includes clear details on what they would like to talk about, laying out at the very least the basic parameters of the situation to be discussed. To that end, they have a number of proposals of their own to make. The Empire lies halfway between Sumar and the Commonwealth, which makes it the ideal place to hold such meetings. Delegates from Sumar and the Commonwealth have apparently discussed this problem between them at length, and both agree that despite the obvious problems with holding every meeting in the Empire, it is still the most practical solution. They are prepared to agree to this, on the clear understanding that this does not mean that the Empire will chair each meeting. It is one thing, they argue, to have the meetings held in the same location. It would be another matter altogether for everyone to accept that the Empire would chair every meeting. In fact, they go further, saying that there are many advantages accruing to the nation hosting the meeting, therefore they propose that the Empire do not chair any of the meetings. Of course, that raises the issue of who should be the chair. One option is to invite the Sarkovan Delves to chair the meeting for the Pact. This is not an ideal solution, but they would at least be a neutral party. The possibility that they might not want to chair the meeting receives short shrift. Both Sumar and the Commonwealth are confident that the Delves would be only too happy to keep sticking their nose into the business of Pact members. A better option, in their opinion, would be for the two major signatories, Sumar and the Commonwealth, to rotate the chair between them. Obviously, it would need Axos to agree, and they are not likely to appreciate the implied snub, but the facts are very clearly that Axos is the smallest of the nations that have signed the Pact. Its size and power is only a tiny fraction of the Empire, the Commonwealth, or Sumar. Whatever happens, there will need to be some clear understanding on who will chair the next meeting of the Liberty Pact before the meeting itself can begin. The Sumar are not displeased that the clause invoking a meeting has been invoked. They are keen to discuss matters of trade with slaving nations. They express disappointment that not all signatories have moved to forbid entirely trade with slavers. They repeatedly make the point that purchasing goods from slaving nations is purchasing goods that were created by slaves, that trading with them is supporting slavery. The Sumar have taken a clear, firm stance and completely embargoed all trade with slaving nations. This has caused them some significant losses, but not so great that they cannot endure them. The Sumar are clear. The next time the Pact is called together to discuss matters between signatories, they wish to discuss altering the terms to outlaw all trade with nations that practice slavery. The Commonwealth are currently very positively inclined towards the Empire due to the generous gift of the Imperial Conclave, who extended access to Imperial law to their magicians. However, they have some concerns that any attempt to share magical law between signatories could, at present, result in that learning falling into the hands of enemies of the Pact. The Commonwealth do not currently exchange rituals or other magical law with other nations. They are looking at some options for sharing knowledge with the Empire in light of the help that they have been provided, but that could only happen if there were appropriate guarantees. In particular, they are concerned about the behaviour of the Sarkovan Delves, who have continued to trade extensively with all nations. It is clearly only a matter of time before any rituals shared with the Delves end up in the hands of Yarmish princes or their equivalents in Asavea. Their delegate is clear. The next time the Pact is called together to discuss matters between signatories, they wish to discuss altering the terms to forbid any exchange of magical knowledge with any nation that is not also a signatory to the Pact. By the time the summit is approaching, there is no sign of the Axos delegate. Hasty winged messengers are exchanged with civil servants stationed in Axos, who confirm that a vessel carrying the delegate did set off from Cantor, but it appears not to have arrived. The Aksu learned of the meeting quite late, and so their delegation was thrown together at the last minute, and, unfortunately, it appears their ship set sail without a proper escort. After some discussion with Axos, it emerges that his ship was very likely attacked and captured by a Grendel privateer. Until recently, the Aksu enjoyed a reasonable relationship with the Grendel, who largely gave their vessels a wide berth. Unfortunately, that situation has changed dramatically in light of their decision to sign the Pact. That has been taken as a clear indication that the Aksu favour the Empire over the Grendel. As a result, Grendel privateers have been singling out Aksu vessels, making any travel by the Aksu substantially more difficult. The problem is not insoluble, just expensive. Any official delegate travelling to the Empire from Axos is going to need one or more armed ships acting as escort to protect the dignitary. Sadly, that will make it costly for the Aksu to attend many of the meetings. They wish to propose, therefore, that the Pact be amended to limit it, so that members cannot be called together to discuss matters more than once per year. In light of the failure of the Aksu delegate to reach the summit, and the question mark over the attendance of Eska Crowspeaker, both the Sumar and the Commonwealth insist that the meeting be postponed to the winter solstice at the earliest. However, they are prepared to accept a longer delay if the Empire wishes to have time to consider its own demands first. Whatever happens, the issue of the chair will have to be resolved before any other matters. If the proposal that the meetings be hosted in the Empire but the chair alternates between the Commonwealth and the Sumar is acceptable, then their ambassadors can communicate that. If not, then some solution must be found that is acceptable to all parties. In theory, that could be the first point on the agenda for a meeting, although neither the Commonwealth nor the Sumar think that is a good idea, pointing out that if they cannot get agreement on that point, then the meeting will not be able to continue. They are, however, prepared to consider any alternative the Empire is willing to put forward, provided it is clearly communicated to them via the appointed ambassador.